Although Young Joc's world was collapsing, did anyone really think it would fall apart so swiftly? Rasheeda, the renowned entrepreneur, believed everything was pleasant sailing until she received the life-altering revelation. Guess what? It's Joc's covered affair and the startling pregnancy that resulted from it. Imagine learning that you are carrying a child and that the father isn't even your spouse. Yes, you read correctly. Rasheeda is expecting a child named Joc, with a secret that had been kept hidden, but it created shockwaves when it was revealed. Not just any secret, but a filthy, disgusting one. Threw their whole universe and claim on tight because it didn't end there. Joc and Rasheeda's affair was unknown to Rasheeda's husband, Kirk Frost. In an instant, his life turned upside down as he said, "Kill Joc." Yes, it became that serious that Kamala, a close friend of Joc's, had her own game to play, but the real kicker is that she told Joc that she had plans of her own that would turn. Once again, everything was upside down. This was only the beginning though, as Kirk's anger grew more intense and Joc's struggle for survival turned into the main event. Things swiftly went out of hand with brutality, treachery, and unexpected turns at every turn. Who is in control now, and what will this do to? Stay tuned because this narrative is far from over. The real question is whether Kirk will decide to rebuild his family after Rasheeda's life was wrecked. Or will he ultimately sever his relationship with Joc permanently? The story starts with young Joc, a prosperous rapper and businessman, leading what seemed to be the ideal existence. All-around industry player believed he had it all, with a flourishing job and an opulent lifestyle that appeared perfect on the surface, but was actually a storm behind the scenes. Was creating one that would completely upend his life, and at the heart of this mayhem was Rasheeda, the incredibly prosperous entrepreneur with a well-known name. As a social media guru and Kirk Frost's devoted wife, everything appeared ideal in the world of entrepreneurship until a shocking revelation revealed that Rasheeda was expecting, but the twist was that young Joc, not Kirk, was the father. The startling affair was kept secret until it was revealed in a way that no. How could anything like this have happened to Rasheeda's previously stable and secure life? One could have imagined the shock, bewilderment, and destruction. Everything she had fought for came tumbling down with a single phone call, text, and whisper in her ear. But let's take a step back. What caused this situation, and how did Joc, who was meant to be Kirk's friend and business partner, end himself in such difficulty? It wasn't about a single error, rather it was a trend, a breach of confidence, and a plot twist that nobody anticipated. Joc was well known for his attractiveness, and his capacity to navigate the industry had been keeping this secret for months, believing that no one would discover his cheating relationship with. Since he had so many other things in his life, Rasheeda believed he could pull it off. However, he was unprepared for Kirk Frost, Rasheeda's husband-to-be. Taken entirely by surprise, just think of the hatred Kirk felt when he learned of his initial reaction. We're talking about a rage so intense and blinding that the only thing he said was, "Kill Joc." Oh, you've heard correctly. Kill Joc Kirk Frost, a man who, after years of marriage and the creation of a life and family with Rasheeda, was now confronted with the ultimate betrayal of his marriage, his world, and his. Everything he had known and battled for, including his family, was falling apart in an instant. And it wasn't just the affair. Joc, his purported buddy, had been keeping this information from him, and the betrayal was painful for both Rasheeda and the person who was meant to be in his inner circle. However, Kamala, a close friend of Joc's, wasn't just passively watching things happen. She had her own interests in mind while Kirk was obsessed with wrath. As the cunning manipulator saw a chance in the scandal, she was watching out for her and knew exactly what was at stake, not just for Joc, but also for herself. Camilla's role in this was anything from straightforward. She wasn't merely attempting to assist. Her own position ensured that she would win if this narrative got public. Joc managed to avoid Kirk's fury by carefully planning her actions and playing her own game to ensure that she was in charge of the story. What was her real goal? Was it to clear Rasheeda's name and divert attention from Joc and his reputation? Or was it something else entirely? Completely obvious that Kamala wasn't only a supporting player. Rather, she was the one moving her pieces on the chessboard and pulling strings in the background to ensure that she was the one that remained. So Kamala started to change her plans as Kirk's rage bubbled over, since she realized that everything was going to blow up into something much bigger. Greater than anyone could have imagined. But nobody, not Joc, could have anticipated the full intensity of what would follow, the clash between. When Kirk eventually got up to Joc, it wasn't merely a warning. It was a violent battle of emotions, ego, and betrayal. Kirk and Joc's argument went beyond simple verbal altercations. It was more than just a phone argument. It was a full-scale attack and violent altercation in which Joc was made to pay for his deeds, Kirk. In a vicious encounter that no one could have, he not only threatened Joc, but also physically attacked him, letting all of his pent-up wrath out. After a life of highs and lows, the typical Joc now found himself in a position where it wasn't about the money, the fame, or the music. Kirk was out to survive this nightmare he had made for himself, where the walls were closing in on him from all sides. Kamala was trying to control things from the shadows while playing her own game with blood. But let's not forget who else was impacted by this catastrophe. Rasheeda, the lady entangled in this romance, whose life was upended when she discovered the truth about who she was and everything she owned, was now being questioned. Would she remain faithful to Joc, the guy who had vowed to protect her, or would she support her husband Kirk? Betrayed her, but was also her child's father. So from this moment on, every choice Rasheeda made would be closely examined. She had a life to reconstruct and a business to run and the family to defend, but how can you start over when the foundation has been ruined by treachery? It wasn't even worse than you expected. Oh no, this was personal, and Kirk Frost and Yung Joc's altercation did not conclude with a few blows and a dramatic exit, like some VH1 reunion show. Wasn't just upset, he was going to war, and Joc wasn't just physically hurt. His whole reputation was being trampled through the muck, trampled underfoot, and trampled on. A silver platter to the public along with the warning to cancel him right away. But keep in mind, Kamala, yes, the alleged buddy of Joc who claimed to have his back, flipped more quickly than a politician during an election year. So she seized the chance and declared, "Let me handle this scandal like an expert." Kamala began making discreet phone calls to blogs, gossip sites, and dubious anonymous tip lines, not to assist Joc, but to sow seeds. One unidentified source told Fake Tea Daily, "Kama's been spinning the story, and baby, she wasn't spinning it in Joc's favor. She's protecting Rasheeda's brand." Working with Rasheeda's public relations for months, she is aware that if this is publicized and the public turns against Rasheeda, it will be the end for everyone. She is cleaning the house, or what? Did Kamala transform the issue into a soap opera? She went all Olivia Pope with a twist on Mona Scott, leaking a phony report that said, according to this woman, Joc deceived Rasheeda by using her mental instability and business stress to entice her. The public, on the other hand, was consuming this like Sunday brunch drama, and Twitter was ablaze. Wait. Rasheeda and Joc Kirk are going to commit a. Young Joc had more drama than his haircuts because of the constant photoshopping by the memes, while Kamala was playing chess and these boys were playing Uno. Others were sharing phony Kirk mug photographs of Rasheeda with Joc's face on her baby bump, captioning them arrested for whooping Joc like a drum set, and another anonymous insider claiming to be Kirk Frost, Barbara's cousin's Uber driver, said that when the drama became viral, Kirk Frost's anger only grew. Kirk disappeared for 72 hours, locked his phone, skipped meetings at work, and was reportedly spotted driving around Atlanta while brandishing a baseball bat. "Aren't no one playing with me anymore," the Trump murmured to himself. Yes, it was true, but the general public didn't just want rumors, they wanted answers, and they wanted them immediately. So, in defiance of all advice, Joc chose to do the unimaginable and went live on Instagram. He was obviously agitated out, with ruses, and his breathing was heavy as if he had just Kirk once again before yelling, "You guys have no idea what I've been through." Nobody is perfect. However, Rasheeda was also present and knew what the mistake was that caused the internet to go up in flames in less than 10 minutes. He cast Rasheeda in a negative light, but he also revealed the pregnancy and gave the impression that Rasheeda was the one pursuing him. Kamala exited the stage with, as part of her damage control, she quickly posted a phony audio tape on blogs in which a man who sounded like Joc says, "I intentionally got her pregnant. I keep the family money that way." Was that really Joc's voice? The internet didn't seem to care at all. The fabricated headlines, "Rasheeda pregnant by Joc Kirk goes berserk urban daily trash Yung Joc," and "Joc goes berserk" were not limited to Twitter anymore. Attempted to capture Rasheeda, Camilla spilled the tea without a filter, and Kirk and Joc were engaged in a battle for Rasheeda's womb drama insider. Rasheeda, who often had a new video every 36 minutes, was now completely silent. She had no posts, no appearances, and not even a skincare promo that had been uploaded. Further adding to the intrigue, more backroom insiders stated she was lodging at a secret wellness center in the hills, presumably at Kamala's request. crisis team, but nobody realized that Rasheeda was hiding from Kirk as well as the media since following the altercation with Joc Kirk turned into. The couple's unstable, obsessive, and fixated pals claimed he had been reading her texts, interrogating her every action, and even setting up cameras in their home, according to a source. Kirk has been behaving like a reality TV investigator, talking to himself and removing 2019 invoices. He even inquired as to whether the baby. Perhaps he forgot how time passed, and as Kamala gained influence and Kirk lost his sense of reality, she started holding secret sessions with. It was masterful sabotage when Rasheeda's business associates discussed sponsorships in private, sanitizing her reputation while disparaging Joc's behind closed doors. With a hint of planned treachery, she even persuaded Rasheeda's staff to issue a phony statement claiming that Rasheeda would be stepping down because of personal issues and stress. Translation: we're hiding till the fire goes out. But remember that this wasn't over. We're returning momentarily to concentrate on health, family, and spiritual calm. Kirk, who is still in a downward spiral, allegedly engaged a private investigator. Yes, he was prepared to begin subpoenaing people, as if this were a law and order controversy. Joc had his own defense strategy and had now hired a lawyer, but the PI's mission tracker wanted to know whether he was paying off anyone than to make sure the baby was his. Not with just any lawyer, but with Lisa Gray, a formidable legal force who once cleared a member of the Hip Hop and Love cast for a six-figure fraud. Case and a pyramid scam in the same year was legendary, and the city began to hum with rumors that Joc would sue Kirk for assault as legal threats flew. Will Rasheeda support Joc? Is Kama in charge of the entire circus at this point? Nobody can identify the true villain, Kirk, who lost it and went all the little. Joc, the untidy secret father, Kamala, the mastermind behind the scenes, or even Rasheeda for remaining quiet while mayhem broke out in her name. As if they were the Atlanta rendition of the Infinity War, split fans began picking sides and used hashtags like hashtag Team Kirk and hashtag Protect Rasheeda. Within hours, the joke went viral, and just when it seemed like the storm was over, Kamala delivered another bombshell in an exclusive. Leaked email? Yes, we did receive the receipts. Kamala claimed to have hours of unreleased audio, text, screenshots, and video material when she contacted a prominent podcast network. That may permanently destroy Joc's career and clear Rasheeda's name. Oh, she was playing hardball, and suddenly the city was shaking. Kamala had just. Oh, those leaked emails weren't a bluff. She had real data and audio. She pulled the pin on a bomb that threatened to blast the entire scandal to pieces. Joc was seen pacing back and forth while repeating, "I had to do what I had to do," in one file of screenshots and even security footage taken from his studio. Rasheeda won't be silent, and Kamala will remain silent as she understands what's best for her. Yes, the Joc just gave. Kamala, his golden ticket adversary, felt she had the upper hand now and organized a live news conference complete with real chairs, lighting, and a podium. With the entire world watching, the drama queen truly believed she was in the middle of a controversy. However, Kamala kept her ground and confronted the storm she had inadvertently sparked. She delivered 3 bombshells, and the situation has gotten out of hand. I'm not sheltering anyone longer. Whether they like it or not, I'm going to tell the truth. Rasheeda Kamala disclosed texts in which Joc was guilt-tripping her, stating things like, "You owe me this, Rasheeda. I kept your secrets." Joc did manipulate Rasheeda. Kamala asserted that Rasheeda had confided in her during a difficult time in the past, demonstrating her emotional vulnerability. The crazy part is that Kama admitted to bugging Kirk's office. Yes, she had audio. Joc and her marriage utilized that to get close to Kirk while Kirk was being monitored. The world went into meltdown mode after hearing recordings of Kirk yelling, plotting to attack Joc, and even attempting to quiet one of Joc's ex-partners. Kamala may be the antagonist we needed, since the Traffic podcast collapsed and posted 5 emergency episodes overnight on Twitter, causing a digital inferno. Then, just when it seemed like things couldn't get much wilder, Joc was Kirk, ruling this city meant that Rasheeda had better not remain mute. When Rasheeda eventually spoke, she shared a 3-minute video on her Facebook page. It was completely unfiltered, without any makeup or glitter, and she remarked, "I never thought mine personal decisions would turn into a circus. I was betrayed, injured, and yeah, I made mistakes, but I'm no longer hiding and I'm only protecting myself and my future." And without denying Joc's paternity, defending Kirk's behavior, or praising Kama's, Rasheeda abruptly revealed the pregnancy. Everyone in this mess showed their true colors, and now I'm showing mine, as she added, scheming. And with that, she concluded the video and the internet was silent. But let's be clear that this was only the beginning of the last round, and the Joc's camp was frantically preparing for it. Kamala Kirk threatened to sue him, and even sponsors he had worked with stopped supporting him within 30 minutes of Rasheeda's video. Erased all of our collaborative posts together. It was like watching a digital eraser happen in real time. However, Joc wasn't finished. He returned with a cease and desist letter directed at. Joc wanted Kama to take back the letter in which he claimed she had broken recording regulations, publicly defamed him, and damaged his reputation in the industry. Kamala literally went live again and stated, "Let him try more dirt, he sues me, I'll leak," laughing at every comment or face a $2 million lawsuit. I didn't reveal his other baby mama drama, and the audience yelled open. In the meantime, Kirk was. The video of him threatening Joc went viral, exposing his anger management difficulties to the world as he was under pressure from his personal demons. To make matters worse, the guy who once yelled and killed Joc was now facing outrage, economic losses, and a potential lawsuit when Rasheeda's video portrayed Kirk as being just as poisonous as Joc, if not more so. Joc's attorney alluded to a restraining order, but Kirk had one final move. He issued a lengthy handwritten apology statement in which he publicly apologized. To my wife Rasheeda, that read like a Lifetime movie script. "I failed you, Joc, even if I can't forgive you. I own up to my mistakes and to the fans He even shared a picture of himself sitting in a counseling session with a message saying, "I'm going to therapy and I ask for grace. I let rage get the better of me." Healing begins now. However, the public wasn't buying it by this time, and Kirk was now known as the spouse is a ticking time bomb, and just when everyone believed Kamala had one of her secrets, a former aide came forth and disclosed. Kamala wanted Joc out of the way because she had a deal with a competitor artist with whom Joc had a falling out and had been accepting kickbacks. She wasn't only protecting Rasheeda from bloggers to give them drama, and the worst part is that Camellia had dated Joc years prior and was still in love with him. Now, the roles were reversed. Turning around once more, the headlines revealed that Camilla Rasheeda, a salty former Kirk Joc, was the one who really sparked the fire. This isn't love and hip. Suddenly, Camilla's reputation took a nosedive. Brands she collaborated with stopped inviting her to their podcasts, and Rasheeda unfollowed her. Kama remained silent without uttering a word. Was louder than any current live video. 3 of our friendships have been broken. Destroyed a baby on the business circle away, and fans are totally split on Joc's. Said to be missing and staying at an unknown location attempting to reconstruct. Legally and mentally, Kirk is currently devoted to treatment but still skinny. Ice Camellia is a queen who has a broken. Rasheeda and the throne concentrated on her. Rumored pregnancy and future. Moving out of the spotlight. Forever, but the inquiry on. This is still what everyone's lips look like. Simply a terrible muddle of personal. Was this a game that was played for a long time? By Kama to eliminate everyone in the single swoop. One thing is certain in either case. No one is leaving this clean, and Atlanta is still in communication. Observing while still anticipating the next shocking revelation, since if there's one thing we learned from this scandal, that loyalty doesn't no longer reside here. Today, it's your chance to. Was it right for Rasheeda to speak out and stay? Kama remained mute during all of this turmoil. Tugged the strings merely to exact revenge, and was Yung Joc the victim or what? The mastermind, please share your ideas in the remarks. Whose side are you actually on? Rasheeda team, Joc team, or Kamala team? And for more outrageous celebrities, tales of wild scandals, and the reality that someone else might remark something like the video, turn on the channel and subscribe. That alert bell, because, believe me, everything will be blown away by what comes next. It's not just gossip, so get out of the water. It's war. Hello, hello, hello.